Hello. Okay, so my ideas for this project were vast, expansive. However, my time to actually execute them was very minuscule. So I'll share some of my ideas and then I'll show you. Well, I'm already showing you what I would actually do. So anyway, I loved the idea of making bunny masks, being able to have them for all the children in the space. However, like doing something like this, I made out of some scrap paper that I had, took forever. Which I know that there's ways you could do it that are easier, I'm sure, but this was the way that I did it and it was fun. However, I've made two and it took me like 20 minutes. So not time conducive, very fun though. I also thought about making my own puppets, which eventually I will, just not again time wise, but I have a bunch of scrap fabric, so I started to actually like sew little bunny ears. That's definitely something I'm gonna do. I just did not have time to complete it. And if I'm being like completely honest, and if we're being practical as well, a classroom it's a lot easier to bring in like cruelty-free makeup and put on whiskers and a nose for children to be their own bunnies. So for myself, for this project, I would absolutely have the children help me act out the story of Peter Rabbit, as that seems just like the most practical, the most enjoyed. And then we'll see where it goes. I can read along, kind of give like the overview, but then see if they want to take it where they want to take it, which Vivian often says in her books that we should do that and allow children to kind of have this expansiveness with how they engage with art. So I'm gonna read the story real quick. I just have a printout. I don't actually have the book. So that's not as fun. I can't show you pictures. However, I'll probably skip because it is kind of long too, and since I don't have a picture to show you, it's less fun, but I wanted to actually read it. So we'll get right to it. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits. Their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sand bank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. "Now, my dears," said Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go to Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor." It freaked me out as a kid. And I'd love to know like kids' reactions to it, because I don't think I've read this story to a kid. "Now run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out." Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went through the wood to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Okay. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail were good little bunnies and went down to the lane to gather blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First, he ate some lettuce, then some French beans, then he ate some radishes, and then finally, and feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of the cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees, planting out young cabbages. But he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving the rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster. So that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately ran into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost, and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard